fly, I'ma need a propeller. When it's cold, I'm the one like a sweater. When I'm high, I'm changing the weather. Only that one time you can hear my voice, start singing my song, come show my song. Only got one life, you can get rich tight, that it rain on the rose umbrella. Seats in the rose vanilla, BVs in the rose got Guella. I made up my mind, got up my grind, and now they got a vendetta. They got a vendetta inside, and going inside, and now her pussy getting wetter, her pussy getting wetter.
Yo, you know what I'm saying? Yo, sometimes some of Gunna's tracks, it's like, you know what I'm saying? You think you know it, but it's like you haven't heard it in so long, it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying?
Words.
Yeah.
In a loop.
And then you like, damn, man, it really be messing you up. But y'all know what it is. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Perspective Podcast, where we're here to impact your perspective.
And inspire your mindset.
Talk to them, man. You know what it is. Y'all know that y'all got Roman here with you.
And Joshua, as always.
As always, you know that can never change, that can never stop. So y'all know what it is. We just thank you for tuning in. Y'all know that every Wednesday we got a new episode for y'all. So make sure you tapped in, make sure you tuned in, make sure you sending it to the people that need to be edified, that you want in your life to be inspired, to have a new perspective, to really grow and develop, and to develop. You see what I'm saying? So y'all know what it is. So today's episode, as important as it is, as every episode is so important, we got to talk about them growing pains, man. We got to talk about the things that we go through. And, I mean, we always kind of go over, you know, the things that we've gone through in our own lives. And I think we're really personal, and we really talk about our lives and things that we go through all the time on every episode. But sometimes, man, you be going through them growing pains and you be feeling like, God, why me? You know what I'm saying? Why do I gotta go through those hardships, those times where I'm in limbo? You know what I'm saying? I don't know which way to go. And, you know, just like when you're growing up, you might get some stretch marks. I remember I got some, you know what I'm saying, where you're starting to grow and grow out of yourself. And so it's like you gotta be able to be stretched. You gotta be able to pause. That can't be a pause. That can't be a pause though. That can't like that's He said that's right on the line. That's what you gonna tell me?
Not on the line, nigga. You in the whole other
I'm
country.
saying you gotta, you know what I'm saying?
I just know everyone is like, yeah.
All I'm saying is when you go through and you're growing, right? There's some times where it's like you gotta grow. Your mind has to stretch. Your abilities, the things that you gotta go through, man. It stretches you to be able to allow you to grow, to be able to be more malleable, and to be able to grow through some things. I gotta flip it to you.
You gotta be phrasing better, bro. That's all it is. Just phrasing.
It's how you introduce it. That's what you said.
In front of the word, and it changes the whole meaning.
Yeah. I gotta give great context. That's what you said.
That's all it is.
Okay.
Man.
Well, I mean, through loss and through change, through self-doubt, heartbreak, friendships, transitions, right? Often we see signs as when we're going through these things, they're signs of evolving, but they're also signs of pain. It's not easy to let go of some things. It's not easy to let go of some people. And rather, instead of looking at pain or trying to avoid the pain that we kind of go through, we should be looking at as divine preparation, right? And just the ability of understanding, like, you know, when God starts to shed certain things off your life, when he starts to take certain things and allow you to grow through certain things, it's all for a reason. It's all for divine preparation so that you are able to grow to new heights and be able to be stretched to new things. Come on, that's a little better?
It was you're like walking back into safe territory. It's just now when I hear stretch, it's a trigger word now when you say it. But you're doing better now.
I'm trying.
I see you do better.
Yeah. That's it.
You have to go through that.
Yeah, to be able to learn. You says it, so you don't make that mistake again.
I'm seeing real application right now.
Hey man, in real time, we got to get it to you.
Time.
So we wrote down a couple things. I mean, outgrowing relationships. Shifting career paths and maturing spiritually. I think especially for us, I mean, we grew up pastors' kids, and when I think about maturing spiritually, I think about, you know, going from once just following your religion, your practices, your belief system because it's what your parents tell you that you need to do, to then actually finding a relationship with God for yourself, you know? And I believe that's also going through the growing pains. When I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of choice, so it was like that's all I knew. And until I decided to go through the times where I had to shed off certain things and certain activities that I like to participate in to be able to get to the final goal, which is ultimately having a relationship with God. I had to shed off some things and I had to go through some growing pains that it didn't feel comfortable. It didn't feel easy to have to go through and have to make those decisions for myself, even though I didn't want to, even though I wasn't accustomed to, or nobody told me the right way of having to. So I had to go through certain growing pains to be having to really develop and get to the place that I am in today. You know, that's what I think about when I think about maturing spiritually, right? Or being spiritually in tuned with my society, with my community, with my mental, and just maturing my spiritual as much as I mature physically, you know?
I agree with that. That's big.
Yeah.
Spiritual growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. And your relationship, that's strong. That's solid stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Solid stuff.
Yeah. I mean, even outgrowing relationships is a huge one. You know, not every relationship is going to be conducive to who you are in every season of your life. You know, there's certain seasons that God allows you to be in for the moment, and there's certain people that are only going to be there for the season. There's certain people that's going to be there for a lifetime, you know. And sometimes because we just don't know, it gets confusing, or it gets I don't want to say convoluted, but it gets. I think confusing is probably the best word of saying. Just it gets rocky. And certain times in our lives, we try to feel like we have it all put together and we know what the future holds. But I'm gonna tell you the truth, we don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get it wrong. You're gonna get it wrong, but you're also gonna be right in a lot of senses as well. You know, it really is listening to the inner voices that we have in our head, listening to our spirit when it tells us certain things, and when we're going through certain things, right? It's all the little things, you know, and really getting it wrong is the growing pains. Getting it wrong is the pain that you have to go through to be able to learn, so that moving forward, you're able to, when you're faced with the same situation, you're able to go through it with a better understanding. Because, like, man, I've been through that. You know what I'm saying? It's not the first time I've seen this. I know what type of person you is. So I know next time, man, I can avoid that, right? So it's going through those growing pains, and it's uncomfortable in the moment. But I promise you, it allows you to be better for the future, right?
I mean, yeah, you choose that. Like, growing pains is just like, they're canon moments, bro. And if you've seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or if you haven't seen it, there's some where they talk about canon moments, and it's like the defining moment in the character's life that led him down the road. And that's really what all these events and growing pains is. It's like these moments that can shift you into becoming way better than you are right now. But I think, like, every time you hit that crossroad, there's two sides. You can grow better or grow worse. Because, like, you can meet a bad person and they could hurt you, and then you still keep them in your life, and now you're in a situation where you didn't grow. You're just feeling pain. It's not growing pain. You're just having pain, you know? Meaningless suffering, almost. So, you know, like we always say before, give meaning to the suffering, give meaning to the pain, you know what I mean? So pick the right path, basically.
Yeah, and it's gonna sound like an oxymoron, but I think, you know, you can grow and still be stagnant. You know, you can grow in terms of physically grow, or you can grow in terms of age, right? But still be stagnant, right? And so it's like, if you're gonna go through the pains of growing, then you might as well do it for a benefit or beneficial reasons, right? You might as well, if you're gonna go through this, if you're gonna go through the 8 hours of working or the 12 hours of working or whatever, you might as well get some out of it, and that's the paycheck. That's the lesson. That's the learning, right? If you're gonna go through the storm, if you're gonna go through the hardships, the heartbreaks, you might as well get something out of it. And sometimes all that might be is the mentality, the understanding, the maturity, the learning, right? If you're gonna go through it regardless, you know, you might as well get something, or else it's just in vain, you know, and you stay stagnant even in your growth, you know. So, I mean, we talk about the season of shedding and the places that God kind of puts us in. And so I was saying that why God removes certain people, opportunities, or habits when we're in transition. Why do you think that God allows us to kind of go through when we're in a season of shedding, when we're in a season of trying to grow, trying to be better? Why do you think that he removes certain people, opportunities, or habits when we're going through those transitional periods? You know,
they're bad for you.
True. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
There's really no other reason. Mm-hmm. They're not for your benefit. They're for your detriment. So he removes them out of your life, and sometimes you can't see it. Like, I think a good marker is if you feel bad in the short term, then it's probably good for you.
Yeah, okay. If you feel bad in the short term, then it's probably good for you. I like that. I think even you can't become who you're meant to be and still be who you were. I think that's like,
someone has to die.
Yes, a part of you has to die. Either you let somebody else go through that, and you let the idea of somebody else die, or it's you, you know. But either way, one of us gonna have to go if we want to get to that new version of ourselves. You know, I think of stories in the Bible. Something easy is just like Moses delivering the Israelites, right? And I think it's funny because he showed them miracles. I showed you that God can split the Red Sea. I showed you that God can also bring 7 plagues or multiple plagues on the Egyptian people to get us to the point that we're out here. Like, imagine a sea being split in half and we're walking through it. You know what I'm saying? Imagine I took a staff and put it to a rock and water came out of it because you guys were thirsty. Imagine all of these miracles that Moses brought these people through and let these people see. And still, even through these moments, when Moses went up and wrote the 10 Commandments and was gone for 40 days and 40 nights, like, they went right back to who they used to be. Yeah. Right? They didn't know what direction to be in, and instead of being still in the moment, they went right back to who they were. And so because of that, none of them were able to then experience the blessing that God had for them, which was the promised land. And how many times do we go through what we go through, right? God has shown us all of these miracles that he has constantly been able to perform in our lives, right? And still, as soon as we get a moment of stagnation or a moment of peace and silence, right, we then decide to go back to who we were instead of being still and trusting that God has better in store for us, or that he has something better in store for us because he's promised something better for us, right? And I know that to be true in my life, for sure. Like, there's so many times where I've seen the miracles, I've seen the things that God has done and kept me from and kept me away from. And as soon as I have a moment of peace, I'm like, man, I got to go back to that person that I grew out of, right? But it's because that's comfortable. It's because for me, or I thought that was who I was, so I went back to what I felt like was comfortable. But I didn't realize that there were some growing pains that I was going through. There's some places that I outgrew. There's some people that I outgrew. There's some environments that I outgrew that I had to go through. And as soon as I went through, and as soon as I realized, oh, geez, I'm not even comfortable in these spaces anymore. We don't go clubbing. We're not too big on the club, right? And that was because I had a week where me and Lucas, we went to the club for maybe a week, and we're like, man, we got to try this. We were probably about 19 or something like that. And man, we're in the club and we're just like this.
Not having it.
it just wasn't our scene. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking nobody that's in the club or doing nothing like that, but it just wasn't our scene, right? Yeah. And it took then, now I'm older, and now I go into the club and I'm in there like, man, I've outgrown this part. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I could go back and say, oh, well, you know, maybe I can do it now. You got to know where you are. You got to know the places that God has put you in, and the places that you feel alive in. So I might not go to the club, but I travel around the world. I might not go to the club, but I love to be in environments that push me and motivate me and allow me to be better, or to have more understanding of self. You know what I'm saying? I might not be in the club, but I love to be with family. I love to be around people that I love and that care for me and I care for. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to also know that growing also means not only physically in terms of ourselves, spiritually in terms of our mental, but also even environmentally. The opportunities that you're around, the people that you're around, the things that you indulge yourself in, right? You got to grow from some of those things as well. You know what I'm saying? And that comes from those growing pains. And it doesn't mean some people they can't go with you on that journey. Yeah, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's okay. So it's the pressure. It's the pressure of potential. You know what I'm saying? Feeling like the weight of who you could be and not knowing how to get there is also a problem when we kind of go through those growing pains of just not knowing. Yeah. You know, I mean, you're younger than me, but how do you feel about the places that you feel like you should be going and knowing where you should be? Do you ever have that fight with yourself? Because I know you, and I know it's just
places
good.
I should be going.
The places that you believe that you should be going,
yeah.
and the places that you are now, or the places that you feel like you're getting to now. Do you ever have conflict in yourself of feeling like, man, I don't know?
Yeah. Always. There's always like a little doubt. Like I think it depends on the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like some days you feel good, some days you feel, you're doubting everything. Some days you feel like you're on top of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, comes with living and the experience of life. Like I really think, I don't think no one's immune to it. The ups and downs.
Yeah.
What about you though?
I think that has been the antithesis of my story. You know what I'm saying? It really is, because it's like, I think what I've noticed is, I mean, I'm in my mid-20s and I speak to a lot of people that are older than me, and even my age, and I think we're all kind of lost. Generations past, the baby boomers, they knew their path. So they knew I
think they were lost too. Like
they were lost as well, but they had a path. So they knew it's like, okay, I go to school, I finish school, I go work at the factory, I work at a job, I do it for 25, 30 years, right? Yeah. I retire, I have a home, and then I retire, and then I travel the world. It was a path. It was a clear path, right? Now, you could still be lost even in seeing the path, right? Yeah. But it allowed for a little bit more of a momentum push into what you want to do. But now it's like you can go to school, right? Now you're maybe $60,000 or $30,000 in debt or whatever, right? Now you're in debt from school, so now you got to work in a job. But then the jobs aren't hiring, so now it's like, okay, well, I'm in my job. My job isn't hiring, but there's jobs that are not hiring or not paying well, or the rate of inflation is too high. So maybe I might not have a home. So maybe I got to stay at home a little longer. Yeah. So maybe I'm not having kids. Maybe I'm not getting married young. Baby boomers were having kids and married at like 22. You know what I'm saying? It was a completely different world, right? Yeah. So I think we're in a stage in our lives where we're lost because we're trying to find ourselves, because from, let's say, birth till, 22, you know what I'm saying? We were just going along with the progression of the path. And then you get to 22, 23, and you're like, well, what are the things I really want? Okay, do I want to work a job for 40 years and be in the same place all my life? Or do I want to, take a chance on myself or bet on me? You know what I'm saying? But then I see everybody else on social media feeling like they're living the best life because they want to post their highlight reels and don't post the grind or the hard work or the times that I'm unsure and I don't know, right? So it's like, I think as a community, as a society, in that age bracket, we're all trying to find ourselves. We're all in a position where it's like we know where we are, we know where we want to be, and we kind of see a path, but the path is a little broken and it might not look the same as it did back then. Yeah. So we're all in this place of being lost, right? And even when we talk about growing pains and growing through those moments, hey, sometimes it's just a storm, because what the thing that you're passionate about, the thing that you love, the thing that you really do want to go through, right? But it's like, I don't know. Or maybe I got to believe in myself enough to trust in the path, to trust in the thing, to trust in the, in the road.
That's what I'm saying. Back and forth feelings, like, just depends on the day. But it just comes with the game. Like, you just got to understand some days you're going to be like, damn, none of this is working. And then other days you just feel on it, and you weather the storm.
Yeah, going through the storm. New edition, Can You Stand the Rain? Going through that, can you stand the hardships? Can you stand the hard times? Can you stand the times that you are unsure or you don't know, or you're trying your best, but hey, it might not work out on the same timeline that you believe that you should have been successful on.
It will not work out in the timeline you believe. Because what do you know, like we said?
Okay, yeah. I mean, for everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah. I won't make the exception the rule, so I can give you that. Okay, let me ask you this then. What's a moment in your life that you felt like breaking, but you actually had a breakthrough? I be hitting them. Come on now. Yeah.
I felt like breaking.
Yeah, you felt like you were at your breaking point, but you actually got through. You know.
Every moment in my life where I felt like that I couldn't make it through. I made, like, the fact that I'm here is a testament to all the times I broke through.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got. I can't think of no specific thing that I felt broken or breaking.
Well, I just, when I say broken, I just mean like what are the moments where you felt like you weren't gonna make it through this test, this portion that God gave you, and you did. And I think the best thing you said is, I mean, I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've said it so many times, but you've won 100% of the battles that you faced. You've won 100% of the circumstances that you've been through, right? Because you're here, you know? And every day that you wake up is another time that God is giving you an opportunity to be able to win. You know what I'm saying? Because you're awake, you're here, you're alive, you have air in your lungs, right? So it's the importance of that as well. Let me ask you this then. Do you think that pain is necessary for growth?
Growing pains, man.
Talk to them.
Absolutely. What about you?
Yeah. I feel like I'm just talking it up, so that's why
It's
I'm trying to get into him because I feel like I'm going crazy. But yeah, I think that pain is necessary. Yeah. I think in all things, right? So I play football, and so it's like, yo, you really get hit with pain. You know what I'm saying, on every play. You know what I'm saying? Being a running back or being a wide receiver, you know that the glory is obviously getting to the touchdown in life. The glory is being successful in life, yes. But there's a lot of hits. There's a lot of bumps in the road. There's a lot of times where you might go up for a pass and get hit in the air before you even get the ball. There's a lot of times that you might run a route and get hit or get pushed off of course before getting to that final touchdown in your life, you know? And so pain has to be necessary for you to grow. Now, does every growth have to come with pain? No. But I do think that it's that you're going to experience some level of pain. I
think every growth does have to come.
Well, I mean, because we grow, pain is also relative to what you believe is painful, right? So I might go through a moment in my life that I thought was painful, but then a couple years later I realized that wasn't even pain yet. That was just me growing. That was just me getting through some circumstances, because I think a lot of pain is self-inflicted.
All pain you should see like that, though.
And it's your perspective to have, right?
Yeah.
Because you're right. It's pain, right? And someone's gonna look at it as pain, but it's like, I think I heard Gary Vee saying, you know, we come out here and we complain about bullshit, really. Mm-hmm. And the reason why we do is because it's like, man, we're complaining that we don't have enough followers on the gram, or we don't have enough money in the bank account, or we're not where we want to be. But there are people, and I've seen in Kenya, you know what I'm saying, there are women that have to walk, you know what I'm saying, 7 hours, you know what I'm saying, to be able to get fresh water, to be able to bring it to their home. And sometimes the water isn't even fresh, you know what I'm saying? But they got to put it on their head to be able to walk the mile. I think I only walked a kilometer at the time or something like that, or a couple kilometers with water on your head. And you realize very quickly how heavy water is when you have to walk it on your head and walk through the hot sun, and you're walking to try to bring it back home, because it's the only water that you're going to have for the rest of the night or the rest of the day until you got to go back tomorrow, right? So it's like the pain that we're going through is relative, because for us, our pain might be westernized because it's what we believe as being pain. And for other people, man, that's I wish my only problem was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like pain is relative, because you're the one that feels
you're going through it. So but sometimes pain is also self-inflicted. I put myself in these environments, and then when I experience pain, it's like, well, you put yourself in those places. If I only do crimes and I'm running streets and running roads and things like that, and I get locked up, I gotta look at it like, I put myself in this pain. I put myself in this predicament. I made the choice.
But like, that's
the choice. I made the choice. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like it's always growth, though. Mm-hmm. Like, some people, they go through that, and now they go to a prison, and then now you have a experience where maybe you're getting in the gym, you're eating, or you find a way to grow out of that. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's pain.
Yeah.
You know?
Pain and perspective. You know? The pain that you go through, it's having a positive perspective through the pain that you go through, or having a good perspective through the pain that you go through, because you understand that the pain is going to allow you to grow into something better, right? So just don't allow it to just be pain. Like we said, growing through it, and understanding that if you're gonna go through this type of pain, you might as well come out on the other side better. You might as well grow through the pains that you're kind of going through, to grow through the pains that you're having and that you're experiencing. You know, so I mean, I hope that you guys continue to grow through the pain that we're going through. I hope that you continue to have a good perspective through the pain. I hope that you continue to show up for yourself, and allow yourself to even have grace through the hardships, through the times that you might be confused, through the times that you might feel lost, because it is so important to go through that pain to be able to grow. The person that doesn't experience pain and that doesn't go through the uncomfortable moments hasn't risked enough. You know, if you guys bet, you would know the person that doesn't put up nothing on the betting counter doesn't have to go through the stress or the anxiety or the feeling as if, damn, I'm worried because they didn't put nothing on the table. They didn't sacrifice enough. They didn't put through or go through the grind enough to even have to feel anything, right? And so the person that's putting something up on the table has a chance of being able to grow and to win a bet, and the person that puts up nothing doesn't have to grow. Be the person that puts up a bet on themselves. Be a person that decides to bet on themselves to be able to grow through the pain and go through the times that we're all going through. If that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm trying to give the double analogy. You know, I always come with the analogies. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But when I put a bet, you know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
I have a chance of either winning or losing. You know what I'm saying? If I don't put up a bet, I have no chance of winning. I have no chance of losing. It's up to you. You get to decide how much of life you're willing to bet on to be able to win big or lose big. But even in the loss, there's a lesson. And in the win, it's a blessing and a lesson. You know, so you pick what side of the counter you want to be on. Know that we love you. Know that we're proud of you. Know that we're praying for you. We just appreciate you for even spending the time with us today here at the Perspective Podcast. Y'all know that every Wednesday we're here to give you guys a new perspective, here to give you guys and inspire your perspective, and also give you inspiration for your mindset for the week. Man, it's another day. We out here. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that. Y'all know we got Roman here with you.
And Joshua.
Man, we love y'all, man. Tune in for next week. Y'all know what it is.